Hello everyone, welcome back to Page of Physics. In this particular video of vectors, we are going to see how to add and subtract vectors. Okay, so for the addition, our first rule is triangle rule of addition. Okay, such kind of rule is also known as tail to head addition. Okay, so consider one vector which is A and another vector is B. Okay. If the tail of the first vector is connected to the head of the another vector, it's like this. Okay, so this particular vector is known as A plus B, which is our resultant. Okay, so this is known as triangle rule of addition. Okay, so if I have another vector, so now using triangle rule of addition I can also define how to subtract two vectors. So we learned about how to add two vectors which are A and B using triangle rule of addition. Okay. Now let us look into how to subtract two vectors. Okay. If I want to find A minus B, what I'll do is I'll multiply B with the minus 1. So the direction of this particular vector will be inverted like this. Okay. So this is your minus B. Now if I connect the tail of this vector A to this vector minus B, I'll get like this. So this is A minus B. Okay, so this is our subtraction of vectors using triangle rule. Okay, so this is how we can subtract two vectors A and B, right? So now what is polygon law of addition? So we had two vectors A and B. So this is A, this is B. If I connect tail of the first vector to the head of the first another vector, this will be A plus B. Now if I have third vector which is C vector, suppose it points in this direction, this is your vector C. Okay, our resultant of this A plus B. Okay, so tail of this A plus B will be connected to the head of this vector C. So this will be A plus B plus C, right? So if now I have another fourth vector here. Okay. So this vector A plus B plus C's tail is now connected to the head of this fourth vector which is D. This will be A plus B plus C plus D. So such kind of law of addition is known as polygon law of addition, right? Now what is parallelogram law of vector addition? This law is also known as tail to tail addition, right? So consider two vectors. One vector is A, another vector is B. Okay. So the resultant of these two vectors will be in between somewhere here, and length of this vector should be more than this A and B both because it is addition of both the vectors. So magnitude of the resultant should be larger than both A and B combined. Okay. So this is your A plus B, which is basically resultant. Okay. Now let us have angle theta between both the vectors, which is theta, right? So now I want to find how A and B's vector addition is defined, okay, in terms of this theta, right? So consider one parallelogram like this. This is your vector A, this is your vector B. If I extend this vector like this, and can make such like this. So this is your angle theta. Okay, because it is your B and it is the direction of A, so this angle should be theta. Okay, now this hypotenuse is B, so this should be opposite of this angle theta. It is sine component, this is B sine theta, and this part is basically B cos theta. Okay, so what now we are going to do is consider this particular angle. Okay, consider this particular angle. Okay, so the resultant square. Okay, so this is our hypotenuse, this is perpendicular, and this is our base. Okay, so resultant square would be equal to the vector S magnitude plus vector B cos theta square plus B sin theta whole square. Okay, so R square will be basically A square plus B square cos square theta plus 2AB cos theta plus B sin square theta, right? So R square will be A square plus B square, in the bracket we will have cos square theta plus sin square theta plus 2AB cos theta. So basically R square will be equal to A square plus B square. Cos square theta plus sin square theta is basically 1 plus 2AB cos theta. So you will get R equals to square root of A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. Okay. So basically the magnitude of R is given as A square plus B square plus 2AB cos theta. But what will be the direction of this resultant with respect to the horizontal vector? Now let us move back to the diagram. Okay, so this angle is alpha, right? So if you can see, alpha is basically the angle with the horizontal vector, which is our vector A. Okay, so now let us make the calculations. So tan alpha will be opposite this B sin theta divided by the base. Okay, so which is A plus B cos theta. Okay, so sometimes this is written as vector B's magnitude is written as small b, B sin theta divided by A plus B cos theta. Okay, so this was all about how to add two vectors using the polygon. So this was all about how to add two vectors A and B using the parallelogram law. Okay, if we want to subtract two vectors using the parallelogram law, so subtraction of vectors using parallelogram law. Okay, so the resultant will be R equals to A square plus B square minus 2AB cos theta, and the resultant's angle with the vector A will be tan alpha, which will be B sin theta divided by A minus B cos theta. Okay, so these are the two formulas which you need to remember in case of subtraction. So this is all about how to add two vectors using the triangle law of addition, polygon law of addition, and parallelogram law of addition. Okay, also you can subtract these vectors using such methods also. So that's all for this particular topic. Stay connected to the channel. Thank you so much.